Hi, I'm Marcel, and welcome to me screaming into the void, mostly about books. I am doing Criminology's Read What You Own challenge. That means that my husband has picked out 100 books from our bookshelf, wrapped them up so I don't know which ones are which, given them all a number from 1 to 100, and then I, one at a time, pick a number from this little used salsa jar, and then I read and review that book. And hopefully I'll get to know a new few favorite books. For example, the book I've read now is Someone Comes to Town, Someone Leaves Town by Cory Doctorow. And this is such an amazing book. I'm just reading off the blurb. Alan is a middle-aged entrepreneur in contemporary Toronto who has devoted himself to fixing up a house in a bohemian neighborhood. This naturally brings him in contact with the house full of students and layabouts next door, including a young woman who, in a moment of stress, reveals to him that she has wings. Wings, moreover, which grow back after each attempt to cut them off. Alan understands. He himself has a secret or two. His father is a mountain, his mother is a washing machine, and among his brothers are a set of Russian nesting dolls. And when I read off the blurb before reading it, I was so interested in knowing is when you're talking about father a mountain and mother is a washing machine, are you talking figuratively or are you talking literally? It's literally. His mother is literally a washing machine, and I love this book. I so love this book. So, Alan has left home, left his mountain father, which is literally a mountain, and his washing machine mother. And we do get those descriptions of the births of the children in the book, and it's wonderful, and I love it. So Alan has left his family and is started to be introduced to these bohemians and a lot of other sort of new bohemian people in Toronto. And one of them is, I don't remember his name, that isn't important, but this is a person who's very interested in the internet. So you have, on one hand, two plots. One is Alan's relationship with his family that he has left and the trauma that all of that has brought with him, and the trauma that then brings when he is trying to create a form of relationship with a woman with wings. And on the other hand, you have this plot about Alan and his friends trying to create free internet in Toronto by creating sort of sub-hubs. I didn't understand. I just went with the flow regarding this. And it's this is a fantasy book, but it's not magical fantasy. It's more mythical fantasy. So it's almost like an origin story. This is very much written as the old Greek stories about Zeus and the way he killed his father because his father kept eating Zeus's older brothers, and that form of a sort of a fantasy writing aspect to it. And it's at the same time, and I'm trying to balance, very much trying to balance, not giving away too much of the details at the same time as trying to explain why this was such a wonderful, wonderful book. But thematically, what I think this book is sort of talking about, why I think that, because it's not always when you have a book with sort of two storylines, as in this book, one with the internet and one with trauma and what trauma does when you enter romantic relationships. You don't really understand, well, why are we doing these two plots, these two sidelines? But in this book, it's so clear why these fit together. Because that's what the internet did. When you, pre-internet, felt weird, either because there was something weird about you, or there was something weird with your family, with your background, and it wasn't something that influenced sort of the people around you very much. You didn't really know that it's not just you. And that's what the internet gave. It gave a way for people who didn't understand why they didn't fit in, why they were different. And it gave them a way of communicating with one another. And that's also why this is very much an allegorical book. Alan, with his mountain father and washing machine mother, represents any kind of weird family background. Alan, who on one hand is parentified into taking care of his youngest brothers, at the other hand talking about how his clothes and how his food is different from everyone else. And people don't really understand where he fits in. Yeah. Or with the young girl with the wings who has to then sort of cut them off again and again, and they keep growing back. And she doesn't know really how to deal with that because they are a part of her. It's in her, but she has to hide it. And she doesn't really understand, well, what is she? And Alan doesn't really understand what he is. Is he human? He was born inside of a washing machine? And it has some very gruesome details, especially because of a lot of what is done with Alan's family. There is a lot of swearing, there is a lot of gore and violence. Not sort of, it's needed for the context of the book. Just be prepared if you want to read it. But there is so wonderful scenes in the book. I wept. I didn't do anything else, just crying about these two people sitting with one another and trying to just ask, what am I? And there are so many wonderful, touching scenes about with how these characters interplay with one another and their family and all of that. Can someone please just read it so I have someone to gush over with? I already have talked in lengths with my husband about it. I need someone else to read about this book because it's such wonderful, wonderfully written book. And there is such a tenderness to it, while at the same time being quite gruesome. But it's not gruesome just to be gruesome, but it's gruesome in the sense that it is very much an allegorical book. The gruesomeness is sort of just a representation of whatever you as a reader needs it to be. I love this book. Pretty book. Pretty book. So, that was that. I'm sorry it became a bit weird, but it was such a wonderful book. So I'm going to read next one. I'm just going off the top here. I don't really have the emotions to deal with a long struggle. Here you go. Any book I'm going to read now is going to be a letdown, sadly, for that book. 41. I'm going to get the book. Please give me a moment. Here's 41. Poor book. Going through fine. Fine. I'm going to give this book a chance. It's probably going to be a good book. It's probably going to be a good book. There are other good books. Oh. Oh. I'm a bit relieved. This book is Freakonomics by Stephen Levitt and Stephen Dubner. And it's about, based on my very little knowledge of it, it's a non-fiction book, but very much a popular cultural non-fiction book. And it's trying to humorously look at economics. For example, what do teachers and sumo fighters have in common? What's most dangerous to own, a pistol or a pool in your garden? Lewitt is, he is an economic... what is Lewitt? I'm just very quickly going to see if they have an introduction. Yeah, both are economics. But the reason why I'm sort of relieved now is that this is so different from anything. This is a nonfiction book. It's meant to be humoristic. It's fairly short. And I can just now see that it's probably going to be quite a quick read. So this is probably the best book I could have now in this project. So subscribe to hear my thoughts on Freakonomics, and thank you for listening to me screaming into the void.